So you have held key position at many educational institutes throughout your professional career. So what are the key factors which keep you connected with the education sector?
Yeah, I think if we understand education in its true sense in the country, I think that is possibly our only tool to able to come out of this long attached tag to India, right? So, for example, for a lot of time, India has been called a developing country. After some point of time, it will start becoming a joke where how long would you be developing and when will you come out of this and be a developed country? And the only tool which we have, and actually it's also our strength, is the education. So that and my personal motivation has always been towards grooming young talent for the country. So that's what drives me towards the education sector, because that is the platform, that is the mechanism where if we can leverage our potential in the right way, we can come out and the change would be seen in one generation. So I think there's nothing else which can have as high an impact as education.
So, sir, being the top management for Rashtraam School of Public Leadership, what is your philosophy of leadership, and how would you describe your leadership style and how it, gets translated to the students?
Yeah, so for example, when we think of leadership, what primarily comes to our mind and which has been popularized for a long time is you will think of business leaders. That comes to you. Political leaders also sometimes comes to you. But I think leadership, if you ask me, the right way to look at leadership is somebody who can see beyond what the others can see and then gather people and make them walk that path. So you're able to see it and you're able to walk it and you're able to take people along with you. So this is what is leadership. So it can be applied in every domain, right from your families to your housing societies to academia, where you are studying and we are discussing education today. So even there, academic leadership is very important. Then in social life, right? When you go out, civil society, you see so many organizations working, also in business, also in politics, also in administration. So leadership is a part of our life. Everywhere, all of us at some point of time are forced to take and become leaders. So when we talk about leadership at Rashtraam, primarily we are talking about people who are self-aware. This is the big difference with the rest of the leadership, I think, discussions happening. Because usually leadership is seen as a skill in the sense that, okay, if you have to be a leader, then you will have to probably have public speaking skills. You should have good presentation skills. You should be able to do some team management skills. So it's all about skills. But at Rashtraam, we are flipping it and we are saying if you master yourself, then you can master others. For example, if you're running an organization with 100 people, how will you be able to have a control over these people if you cannot control yourself? And that is where you see a big challenge in the world today. Just having an exterior way of looking at leadership is not going to work. It has resulted in grand failures. When people reach beyond a particular stage, they fail. So leadership should begin with mastering yourself. And that is the philosophy at Rashtraam.
Okay. So, how do we instill these qualities into the student? How do we help them master themselves? And how does the curriculum at Rashtraam focuses and develops that into the students?
Yeah, that's a very good question actually, because whenever we say this, people say, where is the curriculum? We have not heard about this. So that is very important. Fortunately for us, it's not that we have to create an entire thought. If we look at India as a continuing civilization for 10,000 years, right? It has been a long duration since this country has existed. So there have been so many people who have come out and shared their ideas. So one primary thing which has today become very popular is one small contribution of India to the world is yoga, right? So why? When the Prime Minister of the country also says that he practices yoga, is able to work much harder, much longer, is able to manage stressful situations, negotiate on the international platform. So there are some tools and techniques and philosophies given by our ancient civilization which are very useful. So the most basic and visible thing is yoga. Some of it, if you can call, is if you go deeper into yoga, then you get into meditation. So which is also understanding yourself and developing a control over you. Then if you go a bit further, then you also have the domains of Ayurveda. So where you are able to, the food you eat and how you have an internal chemistry within you, that also determines how as a person you are. And we have all noticed this. So there are a lot of tools and techniques given through our country which are very useful and which have to be applied. They will help you master within you. So it brings mind control, it brings bodily control, it makes you much more stable in difficult circumstances. It makes you a very sharp mind which helps you absorb a lot of information. It helps you articulate your thoughts much better. So all the exterior attributes of a leader which you will categorize and say, oh, this is what a leader should be. If you develop internal mastering using these skills, then naturally those outcomes will happen. Very importantly, if you look at the global leaders today, the ones who are the most famous, if you look at the Prime Minister of this country, he talks about yoga. If you talk about Yuval Noah Harari, who's written Sapiens and is the foremost thinker today in the world, he talks about Vipassana and he's a practitioner of Vipassana. If you talk about many sports persons, they all talk about their diet, which is based on vegetarianism and Ayurveda. So any leader, right from Virat Kohli to Harari to Narendra Modi, in any domain, anybody who's leading has practiced our ancient techniques of yoga, meditation, Ayurveda to develop a mastery over themselves. So that is a core part of Rashtram curriculum. So that is how we're incorporating those aspects into the leadership curriculum at Rashtram.
So, sir, what is your role and responsibilities in developing, developing this in a holistic manner for the students?
So I am the Dean of the Rashtram School of Public Leadership. My primary responsibility is to get the best faculty on board in the institution and get the best students and design the entire learning experience. This is, if I create the right environment and the situation, then learning naturally flourishes. So my primary job is to rethink how education in this country can happen, especially how a leadership education can happen and leadership curriculum from an Indian ethos, how it can happen. So I have to envision such things and then materialize it. So I have to build a team, I have to build the right campus, I have to get the best students on board, I have to create the right learning environment. That is my role at Rashtram.
Yes. So, sir, keeping with this vision, so what is the what is the top priority for the university or the school in the coming next 10 years, and how the entire shift is going to be managed?
Okay, so there are for any institution which is coming up, if you look at the short term, our priorities would be to develop high quality learning experience and outcomes at Rashtram. That would be the primary responsibility because we're in a very formative stage yet. So as I said, getting the best talent, creating the best learning experience, giving the best possible facilities, that is my near-term target. But the long-term target of any educational institution is that when your students graduate and go out in the real world, they should make a mark. They should reflect values of Rashtram in the real world. The world should look up to the school and say, wow, if he's a Rashtram graduate, that is somebody whom we would want in our team because they are the ones who we are looking for. So you would have to build a reputation for yourself, and that the only way possible is to create a great learning experience and deliver on your promises. So that is the mid-level target, I can call it. The long-term goal definitely is that fundamentally, these people who graduate from our school and the ideas which come out of the school through its research, publications, and the various other mediums which will be propagating our thought should become the thought process of the rest of the society. For example, today, if we think about our country in a particular way, the problems which it faces, the solutions which you should be designing for the country's problems, we would want fundamentally that to change. People should start thinking of India in a different light, designing more creative solutions. So even though the Rashtraam graduate might not be there, but the ideas generated through Rashtraam should reach everybody's mind. That is the long-term goal.
So, sir, the vision when you started the school must have been something different, and it must have evolved over a period of time, and formating what it is at present and what it's going to be in the future. So, what has been the evolution of the school, and how do you foresee the evolution going forward?
That's a good question. Actually, obviously, it would not be correct to say that we thought about this right on day one. But for the last 5 years, we have been operational by the name Vision India Foundation. It still exists. What we have been doing for the last 5 years is we have tried to pilot lot of short duration programs and then see how people respond. So we used to have summer schools, we used to have travel programs in winter, we used to have international expeditions. We had some weekend seminars, webinars to see what are the challenges of the country, what are the young people looking at. If we create a unique curriculum, are there young people who will respond to it? So we have done a lot of piloting over the last 5 years, and then we have realized that definitely there's a lot of enthusiasm in young people to be in the public leadership space. So not everybody is today thinking of being a job seeker. They want to be in what we call public leadership domain. This is as thought leadership, social leadership, running your communities, solving your community's problems, and political leadership. So people are looking at new opportunities to go and contribute in the country's development. So we were able to gauge all these different things. What are the people's aspirations? What are the country's problems? Are we able to create some kind of curriculum which will appeal to the young people and who can use our ideas to solve the country's problems? So we have been piloting this for the last 5 years, and we have seen a tremendous response. So once we saw that, we started realizing for the past 3 years that now is the time to build a school out of this, a postgraduate school, which will be very focused on selecting a limited number of people and give them very high quality training. So this is the evolution of Rashtraam. We started with Vision India Foundation, did a lot of courses, about 1500 alums came out of it. We saw a lot of success there. We are now bringing it to a different level, and that is the Rashtraam School.
So, sir, talking about international expeditions, so what are in foreign education system and Indian education system are set up very, very different. They are the opposite ends of the spectrum. So, what does an inbound student gains from coming to Rashtraam for their education, and how is the civil uniformity maintained for people of different races, culture, and economic backgrounds at Rashtraam?
Two parts to your question. One is what can we learn from the international experience? See, internationally, if you look at the best institutions, and I have been fortunate to be studying in a few of them, globally well-ranked institutions, you will see one primary focus is on research, because that is what education institutions are supposed to do. They are supposed to generate thoughts and ideas which will guide the society and give us a philosophical basis to solve the nation's problems and lead our lives in a more meaningful manner. So research somehow has been lacking big time in Indian institutions. That is also because we have not produced great researchers who are in this country. Because to produce research, you need a mentor, you need a researcher, a guide to be able to guide you on that. So that is one big thing at Rashtraam we are building. We are building a very strong research community. Second thing you will find very well done internationally and missing in our Indian education system is the practical or the application oriented learning. So for example, most of our learning, we go through 4 years of education or 3 years of education with very little experience of the real world. So we are living in college campuses, and then once we try to apply the learning which we have learned in the school, when we go and apply it, we realize that the real world is very different. This is because of outdated curriculum, not having enough practical exposure. Right? So that is the second component at Rashtraam. So research as well as a practical experience during the program. It is not a summer internship or a placement-oriented program. So after every term, there is an alternating terms. It's a practical term. So what you learn, you immediately apply. You don't wait till the end of the year to apply. What you learn, you immediately apply. You learn, you again come back to school. Then you apply, you share your learning with others. Again you learn, again you go and apply. So it's an interwoven model between learning and application, guided by faculty who are very good researchers. So when they are very good researchers, they bring the best in the world, the kind of the subject matter in the classroom. So this is the second big innovation at Rashtraam. So research oriented, practical application. And the third big innovation is that it is a kind of a Gurukul model where knowledge dissemination and training is very personalized. Today in classrooms, somebody teaches and it is kind of common for everyone. It doesn't work like that because each of us have different backgrounds. What is being taught, we assimilate differently. So we want to have one-on-one conversations with somebody senior to be able to understand that. So for every student at Rashtraam, we will have a mentor who will give them time and they will personalize the learnings. So how do I apply this learning in my personal context? That is where the mentor will guide you. So this is very important. That's also something learned from our ancient Gurukul system. The last question which you have asked is how about the diversity, right? Of course, diversity is very, very important, especially in a leadership program, because ultimately when you lead, you're working with a lot of people and everybody has different backgrounds, different mindsets, different cultural etiquettes. So you should be able to understand each of them and be able to lead them. So unless you have an experience of managing diverse set of people and interacting with them, you will not be able to. So that is why at Rashtraam, we are focusing very strongly on diversity. When I say diversity, it is geographical diversity, educational background, economic background, gender, and also hopefully an international mix so that you also get to understand about the international context. So that's a core part of Rashtraam.
Very interesting, sir. So, with the diversity, so coming in of the international and different backgrounds, so what do you think is the biggest challenge for Rashtraam in the coming years specifically, and for higher education in general across India?
Yes, thank you. So the challenge for Rashtraam. Okay, so if I look at the challenge, so we are trying to disrupt the education system in some way. For example, you would have not heard of a leadership program ever. Right? You would have heard of, but if you have heard of engineering, you have heard of medicine, you have heard of management, you have heard of commerce, you have heard of arts, right? But this is a leadership curriculum. So this is a challenge because people in our country are still not used to this concept. So they are still looking more of security for a job or something, which is a natural outcome. It doesn't mean that when you are in a leadership program, you will be left out without a job or anything, right? It is to build your capacity to a particular level where you become the magnet and people come to you. So that is what is the leadership program about. So, but this to sink into people's minds and become mainstream will take some time. It is not easy. That is the first challenge at Rashtraam. And we would want to prove it through our first few years of effort that yes, that Rashtraam can do it and leadership programs are the need for the country. The second thing about the higher education sector you have asked, what are the broad challenges beyond Rashtraam itself? I think the recent crisis about COVID is definitely a challenge, especially if you see that a lot of incomes and families have been disrupted. So for them to be able to afford a higher education, especially if it's expensive, it's going to be very difficult. So, but I think what the sector should be looking for is, I think there is a sense of also commercialization coming into the sector. So education is seen as a business. While if you look at it, the two things which primarily were free in our Indian civilization was education and healthcare. That was always free. I know in today's context you can't offer something for free, but at least it should not be done for a commercial reason. That is a very important thing. So if we can develop higher education in our country which is non-commercial, that would be really good. And also for the rest of the society, if a particular education institution has to go non-profit or has to run on a subsidized model, the society or the community around should be able to fund it. I think when we think of Seva or Dana in our country, we are not thinking of philanthropy for higher education. Philanthropy in our country is still mostly limited to schools, little bit of hospitals, little bit of orphanages, and here and there. But all great institutions in this world have been built by philanthropists, right? All the big names you hear in the West, there is a big philanthropist behind it who donates a large sum of their life earnings to build it. I think we should see more and more of that in the higher education of this country, where you get big grants and contributions from the big corporate houses of this country to support higher education. That is when you can do quality at a very low cost.
So, sir, because this is a very disrupting curriculum and a very disrupting course, per se to say, so how do you, and you need a very specific set of students to, fully develop them and fully instill these qualities in them. So how do you administer the marketing and how do you administer the entire activation part of it to gather that set of students?
Yeah, so we are using the help of many portals like College Dunya, as you're saying here. So we are involved in reaching out to a lot of people, spreading our thought. We are talking about our last 5 years of experience. We are talking about how we envision Rashtraam to be a unique school in this country, which is first of its kind. So we are leveraging some of our past trends. We are leveraging some of our vision and our current curriculum, the uniqueness of this. We are partnering with many outreach organizations to reach out to them. But that said and done, lot of what Rashtraam does is also through word of mouth. So people, for example, I have been in this sector for 10 years now. I have developed a massive number of people who kind of respect the work I do. So they spread the word. So usually in the initial years of any institution, people will join you based on trust. They will not only go based on what you put out as an advertisement, because that anybody else can do. People want to see who the team behind the school is and what are their credentials and what is their background, what are they doing. So that way, the team's background is very important. So all the people at Rashtraam currently are of very high caliber and have a stellar academic background. So looking at that, people will trust you in the initial few batches to see that, okay, let us put our bets on this school because it's trying to offer something unique. So what I'm trying to say is, it is not purely just marketing blitzkrieg that way. A lot of it is built on substance, which at Rashtraam we have been very carefully form the team and the curriculum and the expert advice which we are getting. So we are trying to position the credentials of the team primarily in the first few years. Eventually, the graduates of Rashtraam will themselves be brand ambassadors of the school.
So how do you intend to maintain and establish a very healthy relationship in your school? And you talk about integrating and practicality it with the communities. So how does that happen in the entire spectrum of things?
Okay, interesting question. So when you say relationship at the school, I think you're meaning within the administrative setup, the administrative setup and the learning experience, the student and the teacher. So as I said, a lot of what we are doing at Rashtraam, we are trying to learn what this country offered in the past, how the education system in this country was in the pre-colonial times. How did this country become perhaps one of the richest countries in the world, which attracted everybody else in the world to come and do trade with us? So what was the quality of the education here? How were the educational institutions at that time built? So a lot of what we are doing at Rashtraam is inspired by that. For example, I just gave you a quick glimpse of the Gurukul model, which all of us are aware of. What is very unique about the Gurukul model, right? It is, as we said, it is having a lot of practical exposure. Very importantly, having a acharya or a mentor who can personally guide you. This is the biggest thing lacking in the country today. We'll find a teacher comes, teaches and goes. And then I am supposed to study, or I have to go to a tuition outside, prepare for my exams and write, and I get a degree. The teacher-student interaction, or the relationship as you are calling it, is very limited to a classroom interaction. But we are building a living and a learning experience together. So while you are living on campus, you are learning, and while you are learning, you're actually living your life. So that is the living and learning experience we're trying to build at Rashtraam, which is very important. So in some ways, if you see, it is Gurukul, which is a family, right? A kul is a family. So all of us together will learn, all of us will share together, and all of us will grow together. That is the spirit at Rashtraam. That is the spirit within the organization as well, the administrative setup, if you can call it. That is a spirit that all of us are driven by a higher ideal. So as I'm saying, when your ideal is not to make profits or is not to get into some rankings and other outcomes, but it is more to create impact for the country, then naturally the team which you have is very inspired. The team is very inspired. The teacher-student ratio, the teacher-student interaction is very, very healthy, so that the learning and the living happens together. This is the culture we are trying to build at Rashtraam. Sorry, I missed the second half of your question. What was that?
How does that relationship also, is built up with the communities where the students are actually implementing what they're
Correct. So that's very important. See, if you see today in the country, you will have, I have studied at the IITs and big management institutions. You will have college campuses which are doing excellent work, but just outside the college campus would be a village or would be a slum, and what's happening within the campus would have no impact on the people outside. Somehow we have built walls around our universities and schools where we have become disconnected from the society's issues. But why are you building an education institution? You're building an education institution so that you can have an impact on the people around you to begin with. Forget about the country. So at Rashtraam, you can think about the community around our campus to be our laboratory. For example, if we think of a way of solving a farmer's problem, right? If we are creating leaders, right? If a social leader thinks this is the way I can solve the farmer's issues, then immediately the villages outside the campus are a laboratory to go and experiment your ideas. You should go interact, talk to them. So the community and the school would have a natural interaction among themselves. They are not disconnected. I think we have got the wrong notion. College campuses should freely interact with the communities around them, and the community should feel free to approach the college campuses, because even they would have issues which they are trying to address, and they should feel natural that we can approach the researchers in this institution. So we want to bridge the divide and have a free and open interaction, and within the curriculum itself we have slots where you will be interfacing with the community outside the campus.